Hello peeps! Well, in my last video, I kind of said that I wouldn't be coming back until next year, but well, as you can see, that didn't happen. I just wanted to make this last video for you. So, today I wanted to share with you a last minute New Year's reset routine. I purposefully wanted to create a guide for everyone who doesn't have a lot of time or energy to put in like a week or a month long kind of reset routine for the new year, but still want to do something that can get them started and improve their mental health a little bit as we move into the next year. And so I encourage you to try this out because, first of all, I will be giving you a free template that you can download with all the exercises and activities that we're going to do. And this isn't going to take you a lot of time, maximum 1 to 2 hours. It depends on how much time you are willing to put into it and how much energy you are willing to put into it. But as the template as it is now, it shouldn't take you a long time, but it has everything that you need to help you move from one year to another. I do believe that even shorter reset routines can be effective if done in the right way. So with that said, let's just begin. First, let's discuss the structure. Before we get started, let me explain the formula that we are going to go through. In the worksheets, you are going to find everything you need, but of course, be free. And I actually encourage you to do this without the template. Do it on your own. If you are more of a creative person and want to really focus on some things, I do encourage you to do it either in your journal or on a piece of paper, because there will be some things that you might find more helpful if you do it on your own without the templates. But again, if you feel like that's too much for you, then check that template out. It's printable, it's for you to use. We are going to divide this into 3 sections. Reflection, aka the past, acceptance, aka the present, and intention, aka the future. Reflection. How sad and bad and mad it was, but then how it was sweet. Let's start with remembrance. No matter how your 2021 has been, it still should be reflected upon. Because in those moments of reflection, one can steep itself in the past, acknowledging all that was good and bad. Remember, even flowers need rain to grow. You can grow without ignoring the bad and indulging yourself in the positives. Let us create an accomplishment timeline. Again, that will be in the worksheets, but if you want to make something more creative and something more your own, then do it that way. This will help you scour through all your achievements and wins. Basically all the positive things that happened to you the past year. The timeline should look something like this. If you want to be more specific, in each bubble, type in the exact date of that achievement. But if you want to do it like we did on the worksheets, then each bubble should be a month, starting from January until December. I do recommend you try to find at least one thing for each month, because that will help you realize how successful your year has been. And again, that can be as big as buying a new house and as small as buying your new favorite candle. Whatever you think had a positive impact on your life. Then there is another exercise that we're going to do in this section, and that is understanding past behavioral patterns. Now, in the worksheets, you're going to find this exercise for only one behavioral pattern, but if you are willing to really dive deeper into all little things that happen to you, then I recommend you either duplicate the pages, or I'm going to tell you what you need to do right now. Find one negative memory or situation that happened to you in 2021. Something that had really put you down or caused you pain or made you feel stressed and anxious and depressed. And then write it down. The next step is ask yourself, how did I react to this situation? Write it down. Write down the answer. Try to go back in the past and really re-examine what happened in that moment without cheating or lying to you, because then the exercise will have no meaning. So once you examine the situation and your reaction, try to ask yourself whether it was rational or just in a spur of the moment reaction, whether you were completely in control of the situation or was it a fight or flight action. And most of the time is going to be the latter for both, which is okay, but you need to understand that that is because this is a behavioral pattern that you continue to do, and in order to change that, you need to shift. So don't try to examine and relive the situation, but instead think of the following. What is the emotion that made me react that way? So it could be fear, embarrassment, or basically anything. Make an effort to dig deep into the core of the problem and how that emotion caused you to react. Once you find it, flip it. And what that means is that through understanding what the reaction is and how it came about, what emotion caused it, you will also be able to understand the values that you hold. And because that value or virtue of yours was disrupted by an outside force or an impulse, that is why it caused you the emotion and then for you to react that way. Why is this important for you to understand and go through? The past can be shitty if we focus on the bad moments. However, if we flip the switch and actually try to understand our basic core values and strive to gain perspective over the situation and our own thoughts, realistically speaking, if it is unrealistic, you should focus on letting it go or changing it slightly. In the case of perfection, accept failure as a part of your existence. This is all mental work. And if you really want to focus on shifting your behavior, you should really try to put in the work. Of course, this is not professional advice. If you think you need something more than that and that you actually need qualified professional help, be sure to ask for it. There are so many amazing sources out there, and sometimes we need more than just ourselves. So, after writing down this train of thought, I promise you will be more uplifted and happier. And with that said, it's time for acceptance. It is always our own self that we find at the end of the journey. The sooner we face that self, the better. This part will focus on the present moment, as of now. What kind of person we are, what we do and do not have. It is important to acknowledge all aspects of your being. Sometimes having something doesn't mean it's actually good. Like, for example, living with toxic bad habits are also something that a person can have. Just because one owes something and has something in their life doesn't mean it will benefit them in the long run. So first and foremost, let us create a table, a 3x3 to be exact. And again, you'll find this in the worksheets, but if you want to get creative, do it yourself. In the first row, second box, we're going to write down have, and the third is going to be lack. In the first column, second box, we're going to write down good, and in the last one, we're going to write down bad. In the good have, you're going to write things that you have that are good things in your life. And again, we're thinking of the present as of what you have now. If you sit down and think of Everything, if you look around in your room, if you think of your relationships or your career status, everything like that, what is something that you have and that is good for you and that is positive, that you enjoy? This is an exercise that will help you be more grateful, understand your privilege. It is something that we were granted as we were born, and we don't even understand how much power does that hold over us. And of course, this will help you affirm your power. Now, in the bad half is things that you have that you consider is toxic for you. Here goes bad habits, behavioral patterns that you don't like, things that you don't like about yourself, basically all the bad stuff that you think you don't want anymore. In the good lack, we're gonna write things that you, in the present, feel like you don't have. Write down all the few things that you think you lack and try to be realistic, because we're gonna work with this in the next section. And in the bad lack, we're gonna write down things that you fortunately did not experience. Like in the present moment, you are not sick, or that, for example, you don't have bad parents. So basically try to shift this idea of bad things that have not happened to you. This is important. This can help you appreciate your circumstances in the present. It can make you feel relieved of all these things that you didn't cross paths with. After this, you'll have a clear picture of what you own, what you have, and what you don't. Try to make this list as long as possible, especially the good ones, to help you really be grateful for what you have. It's just a way for you to see things with grace, and it can give you a sense of peace and tranquility. I assure you, compare the bad things that you have with the good things that you lack. You might realize that some are interconnected, and one doesn't happen because there is the other. You have something bad happening in your life, or you have some kind of bad trait that is causing you to lack the good. And with that said, let us move into the future to become a better self in the upcoming year. Intention. Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Let me say this out loud. New Year's resolutions are bullshit. Please remember that the majority of people who set New Year's resolutions are likely going to fail. And we are not going to debunk why that happens, but instead we are going to try to figure out another way for you to improve your life. Take a look at that table again. Now, take a look at the things that you think you lack, the good things, and look through it and try to see whether these are things that you would actually want to have, or it's something that society tells you you should have. Is it something that you actually want to improve upon? Or it's something that you feel obligated to in order to fit into the standards of society? Choose aspects that you really want to change about yourself for yourself and not for anyone else. Only for yourself. The others, cross them out. The last little thing that we have to do is create the improved self board. You can either use the template or create it on your own, and this is really something that I encourage you to do, because it's going to be something that you are gonna use every single day in 2022. Step 1 is sit down, put on some lo-fi music, and turn inwards. Step 2, once you close your eyes, try to imagine the person you are going to be at the end of the next year, which is 2022. Imagine your hair color, your body, your smell, your attitude, your confidence, your routines. Who are you with? What are you wearing? What are you doing? Where are you? What are the things that you like? Try to deeply connect to that person, to the future self. Try to intentionally become that person. Focus. Breathe in, breathe out. Take in that presence, that newly improved presence. Put all your intention into it. Breathe in your new, improved, present self, and breathe out the past self that you want to let go of. Immerse yourself into that person that you are becoming. Every single little detail of it. Step 3. Open your eyes, take a piece of paper, and write it down. Write down every single aspect that came into your mind, that came in front of you in that moment. Just flood the paper with all your thoughts of your future self. Step 4. Create the board. Print out pictures, write affirmations, get stickers, get creative. Build this board upon all the things that you wrote down before. Write it in bold colors and add all your flavors to it. Everything. Make it your own. Again, there will be something similar to this exercise in the worksheets. It's not going to be that highly detailed because this is one of the most personal exercises in this video. So just keep that in mind if you are working with the templates. Make the board your own and put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. When you wake up, when you go to sleep, when you are stressed, make that your security blanket. It has to remind you of what you've promised yourself, to persist and stay committed to that person. In moments of doubt, look at it and try to focus on it, try to feel it again as we did before. And remember, it takes effort to change. And you might feel like you're failing yourself. That is totally normal. But again, instead of focusing on perfection and taking this as a life challenge, take it as just a slow shift in your personality. Try to at least focus on one little detail at a time. And it doesn't have to be tremendous. You don't have to put in tremendous effort to complete all of these new things that you set up for yourself. At least put in a minute or two. Just play with the idea of being someone new, reborn, refreshed. Think of it. This is not a day-long journey. This is not a week-long journey. This isn't even a year-long journey. You might get to the end of the year and see that, well, you've improved, but it's not actually what you set up for yourself. It's okay, because change can never be measured in time. Change should be measured in behavior. If you see from one day to another you're becoming happier because you're fully living to your true potential, that is already change. Take minor steps each day, and you will find the right path that you have to go through. Again, remember this: change cannot be measured in time. Change can only be measured in behavior. Thank you for being here. I hope you are going to have a happy, successful, cheerful, enjoyable 2022, and I will be coming back, I can assure you. Thank you so much for everything, and see you next year. Bye bye.